All right, we go turn to Saturday now. The rest of the games on this edition of the show: Baylor and Cincinnati. We've got Cincinnati 5.5-point home favorites, 67.5 the total. That's obviously a big total, and Baylor again. Same old nonsense with them. This is eventually what's going to cost Dave Aranda his job. He's a defensive guy, and this defense can't stop anybody. Still can't stop anybody. They lose 42-36 to TCU last week. I feel bad for Sawyer. That's two games really 3 games they've lost this year where he's played well in defeat, and they can't stop a nosebleed on the defensive side of the football. It's unfortunate for him. Now, he did have 3 interceptions, too, against TCU, so he hasn't been perfect, but he's been let down by that defense just far too often, and that's the issue right now with Baylor. And now you got to try to shut down this, and we've said this now multiple weeks for Cincinnati. It's a really good offense. I've come around on it. Brendan Sorsby, he's throwing it, he's running it, he's really leading this team, commanding it in the huddle for this Cincinnati team on offense. Do I trust Baylor on the road to get stops here at Nippert Stadium against this Bearcat offense? No, because they haven't shown you evidence they can stop anybody throughout the course of the season. So Cincinnati should be able to do their damage here. This is another one where a Cincinnati team total, especially at home. I've cashed some Cincy team totals a couple of times this year. I added against Oklahoma State last week when they played Iowa State at home. Yeah, easy. Yeah,
Oak State, it's like the best gift that keeps on giving for me.
No doubt. Yeah, no doubt. Just fading Oklahoma State. Yeah, I was on a bunch of Cincinnati, minus the points, the team total over. So it was good to hit both of those. Team total here, 34.5. Some books have 35.5, so try to get it below the key number, but I could see them going over that. I don't know where the stops come from for Baylor. High total, but I've said this, I think, on a couple previous shows. I'm not betting anything Baylor under the total. Doesn't mean I'm going to bet every Baylor game over, but I'm certainly not betting any Baylor game under right now. And the weather right now, it looks like for Cincinnati on Saturday, it looks like 30% chance of rain, so slight chance of rain, not much, and no wind. So the weather shouldn't be that bad at the moment for Cincinnati on Saturday. So I would lean to either a Bearcat team total over or a full game over here. CMAC, Baylor, Cincy.
Yeah, Baylor, just the stops. Like they just can't keep anything going a full game. Like they had a few early, versus TCU. One thing in that game too, it's just some teams like the delay. It's just it came out from
run the football. Baylor.
Yeah. We can get to that. They definitely can't run it. But this team's, I agree. Like, how is there just not a bunch of points? I'm pleasantly surprised. The Cincinnati offense, like you talked about, has been really, really good. And of course, we're getting into the high and later in the weeks that, maybe it would have been 62 3 or 4 weeks ago, 67.5. Since he's been so good, like, I think it's just tough because the scoring for Baylor will be there. Like, that's tempting now with them as a dog because they just can't stop anything. Can they just be in a game that's when a shootout, which they have to be? You know what I mean? They have to be at a 41-38. Maybe that's why they cover here. So Cincy, all year 6-1, 5-2 against the number. Easy win last week. It's of course horrible Oklahoma State. I kind of like Baylor. I haven't wanted to take them really, just overs or team total. I haven't since the Auburn week 1. Last week I haven't wanted favorites,
but they're not easy to bet against as underdogs because they can always backdoor you with that offense.
I know.
They don't stop the other team.
Definitely. They have the weapons.
Going back to why you're leaning Baylor, I'll say this for Cincy. Their secondary's been ripped at times.
It has.
Yards through the air, and you're talking about a team that can only throw the football. They have no run game, Baylor, but they've got a really good passing game and a guy that can sling it in Sawyer Robertson. So, yeah, that's why over 67.5. Like, to me, how does this not go over the total? I mean, it was 42-36 in the TCU Baylor game last week.
It seems like everyone too is just going to want Cincy. I wonder if this moves a little bit more. Like, great team ATS against Baylor, who has been great and been horrible ATS. 1-6. That's another problem I had with them. 1-6.
Keep in mind the two Baylor Big 12 losses in conference play, 6-point loss to TCU and a 3-point loss to Arizona State. So, like I said, it's not easy to lay points against them, even though their defense is bad, because they can score and they can trade points usually with just about everybody.
I mean, they beat K-State. You're right. They lost that game, Arizona State, by 3. So they beat SMU 48-45. It's just going to have to be that. Yeah, like a shootout type game.
Yep.
Which is just the style. We get a defense here going. Baylor.